Hey guys, this is Mark Lopez, and this is the fourth video of our 5-day video nutrition course. Right now, I'm just standing outside of my house. I did have my second half of my Subway sandwich, delicious. Had my water, and this was about 2.5. It was about 3 hours after the first sub. And the reason I'm out here today, guys, is it's really just super noisy in my house. I wanted to do a video recording of me eating the sandwich, but we tried doing the video. It got really loud. I was halfway into my sandwich already, and I kind of want to show you guys that even as a personal trainer myself, things get hectic, things get out of schedule, things get out of whack, and at a moment's notice, your whole schedule can change. And I want to show you guys that regardless of what happens, that you can't let your nutrition slide. You know what I mean? If that means packing a couple extra with you in the car, some snacks in your desk, this and that, you always want to be on top of that, because it's one thing to let life get in the way of certain things and get you stressed and this and that, but it's another thing to let all that happen and your diet is slipping and you're starting to gain weight and get unhealthy. So regardless of how crazy your life is, stay on top of that nutrition, guys. That's the big thing. Now, in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about making proper food choices and healthy food alternatives to the foods you're already eating. And first thing that comes to mind is, number one, in terms of proper food choices, you have to be willing to let go of some of the foods that you're already eating that are unhealthy for you. Okay? It doesn't matter, you can eat healthy and eat the foods that you still enjoy, but certain foods don't go in the list. Excessive sweets, excessive pork, excessive red meats, basically, especially excessive anything. We talk about portion control, and portion control is really, you have to put this mindset, guys, is not eating, is when you eat, don't eat until you're full, eat until you're not hungry anymore. Okay, see the difference in there? Don't eat until you're full, eat until you're not hungry anymore. Then save the rest for later. That's portion control. Okay? And I know it's hard, because especially in the start, when you're used to eating larger meals less frequently, but once you start getting into those 5, 6, 7 meal range, you feel like you're eating just like bird feed. You know what I mean? Just tiny little portions, and then you have to space it out. But trust me, that is the absolute way to go. And if it was easy, we would all be doing it, right? So it's my job as a fitness professional to make sure that you are getting the easiest, efficient way to lose weight in the healthiest way possible. Now, back onto nutrition in terms of finding better food choices. Let's go back to talking about the 3 macronutrients. We've got your proteins, your carbohydrates, and your fats. Proteins, you always want to stick to, or especially in the daytime, you want to stick to your lean proteins. Okay, with the lean proteins is basically a protein food with low fat content. You're going to find this in chicken breast, you're going to find this in turkey, in egg whites, and in certain fish. Now, this is important because in the earlier half of your day, when you want fats out of the equation and you want to mix your proteins and your carbohydrates, that's when your lean proteins come in. And maybe later on in the day, that's fine to have, maybe some red meat once, maybe twice a week, but definitely plenty of fish and chicken during the afternoons and in the late nights for dinner. Carbohydrates. You're going to find these in your breads, your pastas, your cereals, any grain-type foods, your fruits, of course. And the one thing we want to know is, we discussed this in the earlier video, your complex carbohydrates versus your sugars or your simple carbohydrates. And the difference being, sugars or simple carbohydrates, they break down incredibly fast in your body. We discussed this already. And by incredibly fast, I mean you have enzymes in your mouth, in your saliva, that break down sugars before you even swallow it. Okay, so if you've ever noticed, basically think of lollipops. You suck on lollipops, they disappear because the enzymes in your saliva are breaking down the sugars in the lollipop. Okay, now what that does is instantly spikes up your blood sugar levels, instantly spikes up your insulin levels, instantly shuttles whatever else you're eating straight into your body. If you're eating it with fats, shuttling it straight into your body. Okay, which is why we want to aim for as much complex carbohydrates as possible. This will come from whole grain pastas, whole grain breads. Stay away from whole grain cereals, Because I'm pretty sure every single cereal in the cereal aisle now says whole grain, and that's because they use whole grain corn, which in my opinion is a starch and not an actual grain. But I mean, you could look at a box of Lucky Charms and it'll say whole grain on it. So stick to whole bran or whole wheat alternatives. But we're talking oatmeal, brown rice, things that these complex carbohydrates take longer to digest in the stomach. They get used for fuel a lot slower than sugars, but they don't spike your sugar levels as fast. Okay, and that's what you want to aim for. Now, in the later part of the day, when you're using more fats and you stop eating carbohydrates, you're going to want to use healthy fats. Now, earlier we talked about good fats and bad fats, your unsaturated fats versus your saturated fats. And of course, you want to get as much unsaturated fats as possible, as opposed to saturated fats. This will come from fish oils, or from fish like salmon, mahi-mahi, all that. And, oh, excuse me, someone's coming out. And you also can get them from olive oils and from tree nuts. The oil that's found in peanuts and almonds, you're going to want to get it there. Okay? Now, food alternatives. In the simplest way I can put it, you want to get food alternatives from basically just the lower calorie option. Okay? If you have to eat or drink sodas, let's say, then cut down to the diet sodas. Okay, right there instantly you could save yourself 200 calories a day. Okay, if you have to have mayo on your sandwiches, go for the low-fat mayo. You'll save yourself 100 calories. Okay, and the biggest thing about all this is it's an ongoing process. Okay, you're not just gonna one day wake up and say, "Hey, I know how to eat healthy. I know the best food alternatives." No, you're gonna test it, trial and error, see what you like, see what you don't like, and make the best adjustments possible for your own personal lifestyle. And that's what this is all about, is getting the best nutrition for yourself. So if every single day you learn one thing about your diet or about your nutrition that you can improve, make that change. Okay, take action and make that change. Because sooner or later you will be eating super healthy, you will love the way you look, you will love the way you feel, and you will enjoy yourself in your diet because you're eating the foods you want. You might be making some alternatives, you might have had to drop certain things, but that's okay. There's sacrifices involved with maintaining a healthy lifestyle. And if you're willing to make those sacrifices, then you will see the results. That's all I have for today. Stay tuned for video number 5 of our 5-day video nutrition series, and that's putting it all together. See you then.